Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Sabbath School Nuggets. Now, before I begin, I just want to say thank you to Cynthia for her wonderful insights into last week's study, Lessons of the Past. This week's lesson is entitled Longing for God in Zion, and we're going to be looking at how the Psalms remind us that home is where God is. Our memory text for this week comes from Psalms 84 and 12. My soul longs, yes, even faints for the courts of the Lord, and my heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. Sabbath's lesson leaves me scratching my head a little when it comes to this idea of what exactly is Zion. Is Zion a place or a presence? Well, it turns out that it can be both. Let me try to explain using an analogy we can all relate to. For me, home is both a presence and a place. Now, when you hear that word home, our minds immediately think of a physical structure, a dwelling place where people live, a house that has a living room, a kitchen area to cook it in, and a place for people to sleep. But what makes a house a home is not the bedrooms, kitchens, or living rooms. What makes it a home is the people who live there. For me, what makes my house a home is that the person I love most lives there. We could live in a tent, and for me, it would be home because my beautiful wife, whom I love, lives there. The same is true of Zion. Zion is often described as a place or a location, like a mountain or a temple or a tabernacle out in the wilderness. Or, as I like to think of it, heaven itself. You know, heavenly Zion. But what is Zion without the presence of God? You see, it is the very presence of God that makes Zion a place, well, where you want to be. This is why the prophets and the psalmist talked about how blessed the temple, the tabernacle, or even heaven itself were. These were amazing places, not only because of their beauty, but because of the beauty of the one who lived there. And this brings us to Sunday's lesson. Here you have David, whose sole motivation for wanting to build God a temple in Jerusalem is so that David could be closer to God. You see, the value that David placed on the sanctuary had nothing to do with the silver, the gold, the marble, or the bronze, or other precious metals that the temple was made of. For David, the value of the temple was found in the one who lived there. For David, he could live on the doorstep of God's house, the temple, for 1,000 years and be happy because it brought him closer to God. You see, for David and the nation of Israel, home, heavenly Zion, was any place that God lived. Can I ask, why do you come to church? Is it because of the music, the programs, the worship, or the fellowship? Or is it because church is where God lives? And that was our lesson study for today. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you tomorrow.